Hi, I'm Louise from A2A Training. I'm one of the endpoint assessors, and I'll give you an overview of the customer service specialist endpoint assessment. There's three elements for this endpoint assessment: the work-based project with interview, professional discussion supported by a portfolio of evidence, and the observation. Grading is pass, distinction or fail, and for all three elements we've got resources in the knowledge base on ACE360 to help you prepare. So for the work-based project at Gateway, you'll submit a project proposal. That should be 200 to 300 words, just to give us an idea of what project you're planning to do. We'll then approve that and let you know that that's gone through okay. We'll give you some feedback to make some changes. The work-based project is then completed within 2 months from the start of the EPA period, and the interview will take place before the end of the 3-month EPA period. The project can't be retrospective and must be actioned during that gateway period of time. As the apprentice, you'll then submit a written report on the project you've carried out and send to us at least 2 weeks before the EPA date. Your written report should be around about 2,500 words. If you do go over the word count, the assessor will stop marking at the maximum amount. So the project itself should be on a sufficiently high level challenge. So something such as a complaint or difficult situation that you as the apprentice have dealt with. You should explain what the challenge was, what actions you took, any tools or solutions, and any recommendations, feedback from customers, and the outcome. Should also detail the apprentice's roles and responsibilities and any other areas in the KSBs. The report should contain annexes that are attributable to the apprentice and the actions that they took. For example, this could be emails, feedback from customers, meeting notes or call logs. And it's recommended that the work-based project takes place first before the professional discussion. So the work-based project is designed to ensure the apprentice's learning meets the needs of the business. So the project needs to be not just an idea, but add real value to the business and the organisation. As the apprentice, you can take notes and a copy of your project into the interview. So the work-based project will be supported by the interview, which is conducted with the independent endpoint assessor online. It will normally last around about 60 minutes. We've got a 10% tolerance either way. A representative from your organisation could be present, but only to observe. And the assessor will ask at least 10 competence-based questions, plus extra questions to delve in more detail. The second element of the endpoint assessment is normally the professional discussion, which is supported by the portfolio of evidence. So as the apprentice, you'll submit a portfolio or showcase at Gateway with a minimum of 10 pieces of evidence and a maximum of 50. The professional discussion is based on the evidence that we've seen, as well as some questions about your job role and customer service in general. So what sort of evidence should you include in your portfolio of evidence? Well, within this you could include things such as witness statements, customer feedback, emails, letters from customers or manager feedback, your personal development plan approved by your manager, CPD log, or any queries or complaints that you've handled and how you've handled them. So the professional discussion is conducted based on evidence seen within the portfolio, but the portfolio itself is not directly assessed. Please make sure it's nice and easy for us to find your evidence, and make sure that you've got at least one piece of evidence that maps to every single KSB area. Make sure you remove any confidential information for GDPR and confidentiality. So usually the final element of the endpoint assessment is the practical observation. What we like to do when we can is organise a planning meeting with yourself or your tutor in advance of your EPA to talk about the best way to organise your observation. Most of the observations we do are completed remotely, and this works really well when it's planned in advance. The observation must take place at the apprentice's place of work and cover typical working conditions. The assessor will ask questions as part of the observation, and this will normally last around about 9 minutes as part of the 60 minutes overall assessment time, and will give the apprentice at least 2 weeks notice of the observation date. So resits and retakes can be taken on individual component basis, but they can't be done to enhance the grade, say from a pass to a distinction. If you do have to resit, the maximum grade that you can be awarded is a pass. And we give detailed feedback following every endpoint assessment. So you'll need to be in a room on your own to complete your endpoint assessment, of course apart from the observation, and it will most likely be completed online using a platform such as Microsoft Teams or Zoom. The EPA must be completed in exam conditions, and we record all elements of the EPA for quality and training purposes other than the observation. As there are 3 elements of the endpoint assessment, you need to have a rough idea of how long you'll be in your EPA, which is likely to be 2.5 to 3 hours. Good luck with your endpoint assessment, and here's our email address if you need us.